No worries, it's all good. We appreciate you being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So, my name is Matia, and I'm with AG3 News Report. And so, we basically just wanted to talk to you today about some of the stuff you have going on. We know that you've delved into being an author, but your background, how most of us came to know you, is that were a professional basketball player. So,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about your career? How you got there, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I played. I went to the University of Tennessee. Played overseas my first year, and then the next 10 years I played in the NBA for Chicago Bulls, Golden State Warriors, Indiana Pacers, Brooklyn Nets, and Orlando Magic. And just after that, I just wanted to continue to do something to inspire kids.
Mhm.
And I thought, why not just write a book and tell my story through a book? And I feel like kids need to continue to read, and educational is key. And my stories can have some messages in there that can maybe help some kids. Uh, and the pictures are great, I think, and it'd be a great way to kill two birds with one stone. I think that's how the idea started.
Okay, so for you growing up, were there certain books that you read that kind of made you think a little bit differently or kind of placed something in you that wasn't there before?
I mean, I think every kid read the Dr. Seuss books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I read a lot of Chronicles of Narnia. Those books were different. Kind of had you thinking outside the box a little bit. I just like to read any kind of story. And when I was younger, I just wanted to read anything with pictures. I feel like,
Gotcha. Helps the story to go by a little bit faster.
right, yeah,
So, I also see that you're into healthy eating.
yeah,
And so how did that come about? Is that kind of something that stemmed from your pro days, kind of watching what you're eating, or where does that come from for you?
yeah, for sure. It was something that played basketball for so long, and eating healthy was kind of a habit and something I developed over time. No, that's just something I wanted to continue even when I was done playing. And why not try to help people eat healthier and continue to be better and live longer? And that's why I started the More Love Within Healthy Vending. It's actually my grandmother's initials who passed away, so it was kind of crazy how that idea and that name came about. It was just from her initials, and that name came about that way. And I didn't really plan or anything like that. So I just want to teach people to eat healthy and just give them healthier options than what we're usually getting in normal vending machines.
Right, right. So, I'm thinking about you here with the book and even with the vending machines, you see, or healthy vending machines, you seem to be a person who's very much about educating people.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you growing up, in terms of your upbringing? Was education a really big deal in the household?
Yeah, education was the only deal, especially during school. I mean, we got bad grades.
Mhm.
Uh, we get whoopings with anything that close to my parents that could grab or
A lot
use
of
a
us know
pen.
that, yeah.
Yeah, are good to switch. 'Cause my parents are from the country, so uh,
Gotcha,
they got a couple switches in my day.
right.
But it was just education was very big. My parents wanted to teach us and give us an option and just a way to be successful. And I think that was their way of teaching us structure and teaching us responsibility and things of that nature.
I think that's so important too, because I mean, of course, you were clearly a gifted athlete. And I think so often we forget about the whole student athlete thing and we focus more on the athlete part and we kind of, allow them to get away from the academic part of things. And so I think that's really, really awesome and key that, you had that kind of upbringing where academics were pushed just as much, if not more than, athletics were. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, and so just a little bit more about your book. So I know it's entitled "What CJ's Big Dream," and so it's a series of books.
Yeah. The first one's called CJ's Big Dream, and the second one is called CJ's Big Project. Uh,
Okay.
CJ's Big Dream is about a young kid, CJ, wanting to play in the NBA and having big goals and big dreams, and eventually getting there through hard work and determination. And CJ's Big Project is about education, just like we talked about. Uh,
Mhm.
Education was real big in my household. Couldn't play sports if your grades weren't at least A's or B's, or they weren't good enough. So that's the big thing, is to teach kids that education is key, and you got to get your grades straight to be able to play any kind of sport.
Absolutely. And so you are a father.
Yeah.
And so how do you take some of those lessons that you were bestowed upon you as a kid and, kind of incorporate them with your children?
I try to. It's funny because I try to incorporate them the same way, but a little different because my kids are growing up a little different times than how I grew up. But still trying to be not strict, but just making sure that they understand the responsibilities and nothing comes easy. You still got to work hard for everything in life. You still got to be a good person to people, treat people how you want to be treated, regardless of skin color and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to educate them and keep them um, keep the morals and values that my parents taught me through them also.
That's awesome. And you kind of said something about teaching them about the importance of, treating people with respect, regardless of, skin color. And, as you know, there are many different things going on currently, in the world right now. And so do you see yourself ever at any point trying to incorporate some of the things that, a lot of kids are having to look at and see and deal with now in your series of books?
I think so. Yeah, the next book would be about bullying. I don't want to give the whole story away, but I know a lot of kids kind of deal with bullying. I mean, every person I'm sure has dealt with a bully at some point in their life. But back to your point, just want to teach my kids and have talks with them about getting pulled over by a police officer or different things in that scenario. Especially because my kids are biracial, so just never know. But they're still going to be identified as black, so they just definitely have to be precautious and just know every situation that can happen in whenever they're put in a situation that they might not see or understand.
Absolutely. And something that, I really admire, like you were saying, your kids are, of course, kind of grown up differently from you because you've gone on and been able to do certain things in your life. Your kids are afforded certain advantages, but you still want them to work hard. So, in terms of, working from high school to college to the pros, um, tell me a little bit more about your work ethic and how you are applying that work ethic that you had to keep growing to that next level and now in this new arena of life, post basketball, where you're an author now and you're trying to be an educator of healthy eating and things of that sort. So how do you take that work ethic that you've had with you and carry it on to this new pursuit?
I think it still is with me, even with me not playing basketball because I'm so competitive.
Hmm.
Even though I am an author now, I still want to have the best kids book out there. I mean, obviously, it's not, I don't have the best kids book, but I feel like I do because I feel like the message is strong and the stories kids can resonate with it. But definitely in every aspect of my life, I'm competitive. Whether it's trying to start a new business and be successful in that,
Hmm.
or being an author and trying to put out the best product out there for kids and for myself to be honest in and faithful in and just put out the best product.
Absolutely. Just another question here. What does, when you hear the word legacy, what does legacy mean to you, for you?
Just something that you're leaving behind. Something uh, most of the time I think it's positive. Hopefully it's positive, but just leaving something behind that kids or your family members or friends can say he did that in a certain way or he did this in a certain way, and just leaving something behind that's positive and everlasting.
I tell you, talking to you and just looking at the different things that you're doing, you are a part of your parents' legacy. And I just think that it says a lot about them. And they clearly were major influences in your life. But are there other people or situations or things that have been major influences on you in your life?
Yeah, I feel like all my coaches have had some kind of impact on my life. My grandparents, grandmothers, they grew up in the civil rights times, and they had a lot of bomb threats. And my grandmother and my aunt was the first one to first black kids to go to a white school.
Wow.
So my grandmother and her kids dealt with bomb threats and people saying they were going to bomb her house and kidnap her kids and all that kind of stuff. So just to go through that and live through that, they've garnered so much strength from that. And then just for me and them teaching me all the morals and values that they taught me through the time, they are really some people I look up to.
Mm, awesome. Wow, that's a deep, rich history right there. And it's amazing that even in 2020, we can still reach back and speak to family members who actually that was their reality
Right? Yeah.
that long ago. Um, so I grew up playing sports as well, and even where I live at, actually I live in a suburb of Orlando. I'm in the Sanford area, so
Okay.
I remember you from those Magic days.
Okay.
What advice would you give to young athletes who are, playing basketball and, grinding and, they want it so bad, what advice would you give them to hold on to and just, things to caution and just to think about?
Just to work hard. Don't give up on your dream and your goal. I know several times when I was overseas and I wasn't in the NBA, I wanted to quit, but my parents wouldn't let me. They kept telling me to push and fight and claw and not to give up and never be a quitter. And I think that's something that's really stayed with me throughout the time, regardless if it's in basketball or business or anything like that. Just don't quit. If you're not successful, go and try something else. Just don't give up, and just keep your head on straight. Keep those people around you who don't just tell you the things you want to hear, but tell you the things you don't want to hear in good times and bad. And I think that's why I've been so successful and had those people around me to tell me when I've done bad and when I've done good. So I think it's a good thing.
That's absolutely awesome. So let me ask you this. So we've, kind of, touched on, current events and, the climate that we're dealing with. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you to be a Black man in America right now?
It means a lot. I mean, it's definitely a tough time for us. I think it's always been a tough time because we're kind of uh, we're unarmed and we're getting killed left and right by obviously the white man. But we just got to be strong and keep the faith, and hopefully times will change. And I think it comes with us all sticking together, not trying to fight against one another or kill one another like they probably want us to, but just to stick the race, and hopefully all this stuff will come about and turn around. But it's definitely sad and it's devastating just to you can't even go and go on a run or
Right.
go wherever grocery store like that without being killed or without being targeted by someone. So it's definitely sad and sad to see in these times.
Yeah. So before we leave here from you today, can you let us know about any things you're currently working on? I know you said you were working on, another book. Don't want to talk about that. I get that. Anything else you kind of have on the stove, so to speak?
That's really it. I mean, the third book hopefully will come out around maybe August or September. But if you want to pick up the first two, you can go to Amazon under CJ's Big Dream or CJ's Big Project and pick those up. And leave a review. Let me know if you like it, don't like it. And
Absolutely. Let me ask you this about the book. So, what age range is that most appropriate for? Would you say?
I would say maybe from like 8 to 12. It's a pretty good book for those ages, and I think those kids will be able to resonate with the stories. And like I said, the pictures are great, and it'll keep them involved and excited about the story, what's going to happen next.
Okay, well, I have a 10-year-old son, so I guess I'll be hopping on Amazon to go ahead and get one for him because it's summertime, and so we gotta have the reading going on.
Going.
Absolutely. So, can you just let folks know how they can follow you and keep up with you and what's going on with you?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at quietstorm_32. And I think on Facebook, my name is official cjwatson. I think I don't really get on Facebook that much. I just post and get off.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing great things from you in the future.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it.